just before we start, we will start at 5:30 p.m. sharp, and we're just finalizing some things from the back, just giving some time for our members to come through. But just before that, a few housekeeping matters. I am unsure, I mean, we're from Lautoka, we've probably been here more times than the FNPF team has. But if you do not know where the washroom is, you can ask one of our staff. I believe it's towards the back here. In case there's a fire, fingers crossed that will not happen. Our exit is where you entered, and of course, we'll just move throughout the door to my right. And also, you may have noticed, as is with the current environment, we need to observe COVID-19 safety protocols. We will need to wear masks at all time while we are here this afternoon. Unless you will be asking a question during the question and answer session, then you will need to take off your face masks. So, just other things. The member forum pack that you have, it has a few key materials that you can refer to as we proceed through tonight's member forum. There's the member summary, which really is a condensed version of our annual report. So we will have the annual report. It's just been passed in cabinet, and we anticipate that it will be passed through Parliament this week. Only then can we issue the annual report to the public. So we have the approved condensed version that you can also use for this evening's member forum. Also, there is a feedback form in your file, in your folder. That is key to the team because it really gives us an indication of how we need to improve. We have been having past suggestions from members because we've been holding and hosting the forum here. And I know last year was very full, so we do try and look for other venues that is more to your liking, that is conducive to what we are trying to carry out in this exercise. So other things that you feel that we need to provide for you, if it's more information or other things as a member would want during the member forum, how we can improve our PowerPoint presentation, etc. Please put that down in the feedback form. It's very important for us. So we will start at 5:30 p.m. Thank you for those that have come in very early this afternoon. And we will not try and make this program too long for you guys. Are you all comfortable? Okay. There's a lot of water at the back. If you want water, keep hydrated. It's very hot here in Lautoka. I'm sure we brought the heat. Okay. So let's make this a very interactive section, and we will wish each other all the best. So 5:30 p.m. we'll start. Vinaka. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will begin with our annual member forum this afternoon. If we can bow our heads for a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for your grace. As we convene here in Lautoka at the RSL Hall for the annual member forum, Father, we ask you to guide us. We ask you to lead tonight the program as we converse with our members. We ask you, Father, to help us with their concerns that they have, that we may come to meet them at a balanced point. But we know, Father, that we will leave tonight with a lot more knowledge of what the fund is all about, what it has to offer for our members. We ask you all this in our name of our only Father, Jesus Christ. Amen. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your FNPF annual member forum here in Lautoka. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of our CEO this afternoon in the Sugar City. This is an event that we hold and conduct around the country on an annual basis for our members. For those of you that are attending the member forum for the first time, as I alluded to earlier, it is an event that takes place annually. It is legislated, which means we are obligated by law for us to conduct this very important forum where we go around and present to our members our past financial year's performance, key achievements, and also our future plans. So it's great once again to be here in Lautoka. The event is also very important. It provides a platform for you, our members, the opportunity to raise your concerns and have them discussed with our executives that are present here tonight. So for this year, this is actually the first forum that we're conducting in Lautoka. On Friday, we are in Nandi at the FNPF Center, the new FNPF complex or retail center. And then next week on Tuesday, we're back in Suva at the Grand Pacific Hotel before we go to Honolulu early next year. So please, for those that have come in, ensure that you have your member forum pack with you. There is a member feedback form that needs to be in the pack. If it is missing or if you did not have it issued, please let our staff know. It's important that you submit your feedback form towards the end, and then we do have light dinner that we give to our members. That's a gesture of appreciation for attending the forum. Also, observing the COVID-19 protocols, please wear your face masks at all time. Only if you're going to ask a question during the Q&A session, then you will be able to take off your mask. So our program today, in a very few, the next few seconds or so, I will invite our CEO to go through his official presentation. Then we will have a Q&A session, and then after that, we will end our program, but our team are also present at the back. After the session, we will be also providing member services. If you want to check your balances or advisory services, application forms, they will be able to help you at the end of the session. So please do, just the team that are around, they're either wearing the blue shirt that I am wearing or the polo black t-shirt that has the FNPF logo. Let them know if you need anything for this afternoon. Okay, are we all comfortable? Yes, okay. So without further ado, I will now invite our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Vinaka Vakalevu, for his presentation. Vinaka.
Ladies and gentlemen and members, I'm truly privileged and honored to be amongst you today in my first annual member forum as the CEO of FNPF. The member forum is an event that the fund looks forward to as it gives us the opportunity not only to present our key activities and performance over the years, but also to engage with you, with members and employers and also pensioners. I hope that you will leave today being better informed about the fund and that when you arrive. So I'll go through the slide. Our agenda is to show on the slide. We will take you through the key activities our financial performance from last year. Most of what I've shared with you today is in the annual members' summary that you already have. That's available in your forum pack. There will also be a question and answer session at the end of this presentation. At a glance, as you've noticed, that's a summary of what we've performed last financial year, which is, by any standard, it's a good performance. As you will all know, 2021 was dominated by COVID-19. We were all affected, none was spared, FNPF included. Despite the tough operating climate, the FNPF team did its best to step out and deliver. We were all there for you. When you need us, we roll out our various COVID-19 relief withdrawals in collaboration with the Fiji government. The government greatly assisted, topping up members who have insufficient general account balances. With the fiscal distancing restriction, we will push our service online, and members were encouraged to conduct the FNPF business online. In terms of investment, we will ensure the best outcome for our members. We made decisive and strategic decisions with a view that will grow our member savings. Liquidity referred to as our liquid position give rise to members' demand, but is expected and was managed. In all this, FNPF solvency position was protected and FNPF remained financially stable and secure. There were key shifts in our focus during the year. It was to look to our members. We drove a member-centric approach. Although we did not cover all the financial losses that you endure, we tried to bridge the gap and provide the relief where we and when members need it most. We know the situation of our stakeholder we were in, and we attempted, as we possibly can, restricted by law, to respond accordingly. We continue to assist those who are impacted by COVID-19, and we were unemployment, we want to reduce hours or salary, those who are unemployed for a long period, voluntary members, and those that were impacted by the lockdown. The fund rolled out about 17 rounds of assistance during the year. We also rolled out the COVID-19 home loan assistance that enabled members to also use the portion of their preserve account to pay their mortgage. So far, we have assisted more than 1,500 members under the system, paying out more than 14.6 million. In total for this financial year, 277.2 million was distributed in the financial year 2021 for COVID-19 assistance, inclusive of government-funded top-ups. For our pensioner, the fund waived the pension renewal certificate during the month of May to September. Pensioners continued to receive their payment based on presumption of life. On employers, the fund also introduced the employers' relief package that consists of waiver of penalty, time payment arrangement, compliance letter, and other third-party recoveries. This package greatly assists employers. We were gravely affected by COVID-19. There were 1,143 employees accessed the employers' relief package, and the total amount of penalty waived for that year was 6.2 million. The relief package ended on the 30th of June 2021. We also reached out to our tenant during the year and provided rental concession. About 70% of our tenants benefited from the concession, totaling 1.27 million. Rental review dues on 2021 were also deferred. So I'm referring in particular to rental income for all the property we rent out as FNPF properties. In addition to the COVID-19 unemployment assistance, the fund continued to provide assistance to members under normal withdrawal grounds. So including unemployment, FNPF paid out a total of 500.8 million during the year, an increase of 61.8 million from the 2020 numbers. We serve about 700,000 members during the year and process over 300,000 applications, the highest number of members and applications ever processed by the fund in any 1 year. This clearly shows that the fund is administratively and financially capable to meet our commitment to our members. By 30th of June 2021, the fund held 816.7 million in cash and term deposits compared to 693 million in 2020. How did this increase? We can attribute this to our proactive approach on liquidity management and strategic investment decisions. One in particular was the divestment of EFL shares that we actually sell off, that actually supported our funding for 2021. I will now go through our key achievement in 2021. As I stated earlier, our key focus was to meet our members' needs and to continue to be on focus in 2022. The various COVID withdrawal schemes provided some form of relief for our members, and our collaboration with government enabled a wider spectrum of members to continue to receive the assistance until June 2021. The fund also rolled out a natural disaster system for tropical cyclone Yasa, relief for affected members in the north. We paid out a total of 8 million to 5,621 members. We signed formal partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture to onboard farmers and most recently dairy farmers. This is part of our strategy to have an inclusive voluntary membership product zoning in our informal sector. Sustaining our digital focus was also a key activity. We continue the revamp of our IT infrastructure. We also enhanced the employer and portal and tried this with selected employers. The robotic process automation was the game changer, processing COVID-19 withdrawal automatically from registration through to payment. We introduced a live chat facility, was the same change in processing COVID-19 withdrawal automatic from. We introduced a live chat facility on the FNPF website that allowed members to get answers to their query in real time. We encourage members to go digital during the pandemic. We also enable application for local education assistance on mobile apps. In fact, all our various rounds of assistance were enabled through the mobile apps. The required consistent mobile apps enhancement during the year for COVID-19 assistance. My FNPF apps has undergone so many enhancements, all necessary given the physical distance restriction we all face with. On liquidity, we established a liquidity mitigation strategy to ensure prudent management of funds cash flow. We added another investment to our property portfolio when we acquired the QBE building in Suva. Some of you are probably aware, this is the building just next to NZ Bank. We also do a regional expansion on ATH. So now ATH is on the PNG market also. We do a number of renovations on our major hotels, that's Sheraton and Westin. We revalue some of our assets. We also diversify our share in EFL. And we expand on ATH operation. We also start to lend to the retail sector, to some of the substantial key players in the retail sector. There's some stats on our current members profile are as follows. Our members as of 30th June was 446,658. The self-wealth zone dominance of the male members, owing 65% of the 6.4 billion of our members' balance. Total pension count was about 7,826. And the total members of active employer was around 7,901. These are employers that they paid their employees contribution at least once during the financial year. And on our financial, we paid out 302.8 million to 386,986 members at around 5%. In the past 5 years, members have received 1.51 billion in interest, and we are encouraged by our ability to maintain our consistency and competitiveness above the market interest rate for you all. Despite the ranging volatility of our financial market, the fund posted a return on investment of around 6.5% with an investment income of 592.1 million. Again, by any standard, I think this FNPF is one of the best performing financial institutions in Fiji. And it still is, and we are also the biggest financial institution in the country. As part of our operating efficiency, and in light of pandemic environment, we prudently manage our operational expense, applying cost-effective strategies, and we saved 6% on expense compared to 2020. Therefore, the fund realized a substantial net increase in net asset of 496.5. Then in percentage terms, that's about 54.9% growth from prior year. This graph shows the contribution of members against members withdrawal. So, short term is 2021 is a bit different from other financial year. So we draw more than what we actually contributed. So that's why you see the negative number of 179.5 million. So more withdrawal for the year, which we are quite aware of. COVID-19 has that impact on our numbers. Contribution collection was 321.1. Withdrawal increase in 2021 due to COVID-19 unemployment scheme, also for retirement and housing withdrawal. Next slide. This slide depicts our solvency assurance. Solvency is a simple term, means our ability to meet our long-term financial obligation. We have 1.8 billion more in assets on top of members' fund, which put us in a comfortable position in regards to this obligation. This is an important slide which shows the benefit of preservation rule. I think all of us are quite aware. So GA account numbers are the bottom line. The other one is preserve account. That's the one you can only access when you reach 55. And that's the total. So out of the 6.4 billion, the preserve number is around 5 billion. And the general account numbers is around 1 billion. The one we can draw within our working life, prior to 50. Our future plan. With the strategic theme of leading the transition, we still have many challenges ahead. COVID-19 is not totally out of the mist. We know for the fact there is a number of variants that are going through right now. But for now, we are focused on transitioning the fund for a stronger and resilient institution with our members' interests at heart. Therefore, key to short medium-term goals are as follows. Review our scheme design, evaluate our retirement product and accumulation retirement offering. We pursue investment in resilience and growth sector. We drive additional voluntary and contribution uptake. We upgrade our information center, and also we update our administrative system. We want the best for you, our members, and we do all we can within our confine of our law to deliver for you all. And ultimately, we would strive to ensure your retirement security It has not been an easy year for all of us, but definitely we have done our best for the experience and therefore more resilience in the process. Your FNPF is safe and secure. Let no one convince you otherwise. And with your support, it will continue to remain in a stable position as it right now. Finally, on behalf of the board, management and staff, I wish to extend our sincere condolence to those of you who have lost your family or friend to COVID-19. It's been a hard year for all of us, and we pray that God's blessing will be upon you and every one of you. Vinaka Vakalevu.
Vinaka Vakalevu, Mr. Wandanevalu. So members, at this point, we've come to our question and answer segment. So I will invite the CEO, our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Pravinesh Singh, and our General Manager for Member Services, Mr. Alipate Wangarawai, to the table up front here, who will form our panel for tonight. Thank you, executives. So just some fair rules for today's question and answer session. If you have a question, please raise your hands. We have wireless microphones that we will bring to you, one at a time. No shouting. We've had that in the past, okay? And our executives, we will try our best to answer your questions, because that is why we are here this evening, and we would like you to ask as many as you want. You know, we know there's a lot of information that is moving around social media, a lot of rumors. As they say, it's best to hear from the horse's mouth. So this is a great opportunity, and I'm thankful that we have a lot of you that are here, and you've given up your time to be here with us this evening. So we have microphones. You can also text me on 9998764. I have my mobile phone here for those that may be shy to ask your question. Please text me your questions and I will direct them to the panel. We will also filter them. For example, if someone has asked a similar question, we will not repeat with respect to the time that we have here at the venue. And if you want to ask in the vernacular, the Itoke language or Hindi, please do so. Okay, so this is your forum, this is your evening, let's make the most of it. So the panel is ready? To the floor. Can we have our first question, please? Yes, sir. Please state your name, your question. Please just let us know if you're also a member, an employer, or a pensioner.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for the very fine deliberation which the CEO has made. And also congratulations on the new office in Delhi. I have got two questions regarding education assistance. And I have been a member, I am a member for 29 years, and I have increased my contribution to FNPF. As our CEO has alluded, that FNPF is here to help the members. Say, though my money is in FNPF, I have been running like a beggar to FNPF for the past 2 weeks. Fortunately, or probably we can say unfortunately, for 3 occasions, I came across 3 of these employees at FNPF here in Lautoka. And I got 3 different answers. Probably the SOP is not there. I don't blame the employees. Because for the same questions, I had 3 different answers, and I had to run around to provide the documents for the payment of my daughter's education abroad. But to date, nothing has been done and it has been declined. Okay? I know I have got a sense of financial literacy. I am able to control my money. It is not that I will take the lump sum and pay for my daughters abroad. I just wanted, even it was less than $10,000. But because FNPF did not give me, and there is a letter, it states that I have to give the documents again with a $10 fee. And I have got a timeline of 30 days. See, I have given once all the documents. I did a lot of running. Especially this time, COVID time, leaving the office is very difficult. I have to run to the bank, run to the 5K free car, and then again they are asking for the same documents plus the $10 fee. See? What I am thinking, that probably when I retire, I will take all my money out. I'll put in some other institution, though I get a less interest. Because this is the time when I need FNPF the most. And they are not helping me. And you know, we are working people, we don't have enough to in our banks to say, no, to pay for that. But I did that for my daughter's sake, because I want my daughter to go abroad to do her studies. But FNPF is trying its level best to stop my daughter from going abroad. And it is through this document here. And I tried, sir, to get your contact through your online chat. I've got a copy of the chat. I have written everything to date. Nothing has been done. And if you want a copy of the chat, I have photocopied the copy. I can pass it to you and you see what happens when you're online. Because I was asked why you want to have a contact with the CEO. I wanted your email so that I could write to you. And as soon as I wrote that, because of the situation, the contact ceased. The online platform ceased. I had given my email number, my mobile number, my contact, everything, but to date, nothing has transpired, sir. I hope you look into that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for raising that matter. I think for us at the fund, we take our members' request seriously. Right? And provided it's within the policies and the guidelines, we do apologize if you had taken, there were 3 different interpretations given to you, but we will speak to you offline after this. Our main agenda is really, and we thank you for raising that up, because this sort of forums, the whole purpose is to sort of, for you to air any grievances or any complaints that you may have. And I thank you for being very frank in terms of the services that you receive. But let me just clarify that for us at FNPF, the policies and the guidelines of FNPF are quite clear. There's no middle road. There are strict policy according to the education policies, the medical withdrawal grounds, the housing withdrawals. There is no middle ground in terms of it's either a yes or a no, provided you meet the guidelines. With FNPF, it's very simple. You meet the guidelines, you get the money. We pay you. And that's the testament to that is the payments that the CEO has just alluded to. We haven't, despite all these difficulties, we have continued to maintain the pre-withdrawal grounds in terms of funeral, except the unemployment which have reduced, but otherwise housing, medical, and education continued. That's based on our liquidity position, our solvency, and our ability to pay, and also on the promises which we make in terms of what's available. But so we'll take this offline, we'll have a discussion with you separately, but let me remind the people today, with FNPF, please, when we require you to get the requirements for that particular withdrawal grounds, it's as simple as getting us those documents. When you meet the criteria and you submit the relevant documents, there shouldn't be any delay. But if there was any delay, as you've experienced and I've said, we do apologize. But we will handle that offline with you after this. Thank you. And we welcome that very positive feedback. Because that's the whole purpose why we put ourselves in front like this, is to hear. This is the opportunity to air your grievances and your views. Not after when we leave, then you start asking yourselves the questions. While the team is here, please ask us any questions. And as the CEO had alluded to, any questions that you have in the fund, at the end of this session, we want you to leave with all those questions answered. And that's our main aim of coming here, okay, in terms of holding this kind of forums. Vinaka.
Thank you, Mr. Wangarawai. Can I have the second question, please? Sorry, Mr. C.
Yeah. Just to add to what Alipate has said, it's not like FNPF is stopping you from withdrawing your money. This is your funds. And like CEO has shown on the slides, FNPF is in a very healthy position. If you look at the assets, if you look at the cash reserves, it evidences that FNPF is solvent and we are in a safe position. We've paid out last year the maximum withdrawal we've ever done. And despite the fact that contributions had come down, FNPF continued to pay you withdrawals. It's unfortunate this has happened, sir. We will take this offline, but this is what we want from you during these forums. It's not like, this is the only time that the executives come here. It's very unfortunate that whoever has said that, we would not be able to give you the context of CEO or anybody for that matter. Pate is here looking after member services, I look after operations, CEO looks after overall FNPF. So we are just a phone call away or email away. But we would like to know why this has happened so that we can investigate. But rest assured, we are not away or we are not isolated. We look after your funds. This is your money. And as long as those withdrawals are within the prescribed guidelines, FNPF will not hesitate to pay you. In fact, our focus now is on members. That's the member-centric agenda we are driving now. We want you to come up with this. We want honest and frank feedback from members. You tell us what is the experience you are facing. Every year we come to you so that we can get it from you directly and make the changes that's required so that your journey at FNPF is seamless. You experience that delight. But I can understand the frustration. If you are being told 3 times 3 different things, that's not on. We need to correct it. And year on year, when we come to the forums, this is the feedback we get. We take it back, we thresh it out, we make the changes. A lot of withdrawals have come up about due to the feedbacks we've gotten from the forums. So, sir, we will handle your complaint after this, but rest assured, FNPF does not stop. Never has FNPF stopped anybody from withdrawing funds as long as those are within the guidelines. And over time, we've changed the guidelines to suit and meet member needs. We are not rigid, it's not cast in stone. So when there is a need due to changing circumstances, COVID is a reality. We will adapt to the situation, we will make amends to our guidelines as much as possible, we will help our members. COVID is a real testament, and 2020 and 2021 is the year, are 2 years when FNPF has really gone out of its way to help you put bread and butter on the table together with the support from the Fijian government. So we are here for you. The funds belong to you. It doesn't belong to us or it doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to you. So any issues you have, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Can I have the microphone to the lady to my left at the back, please?
Good evening, all. I'm from FRCA, one of the employees who's been given a compulsory package. That's around 28. For unemployment, I'm not ready to retire. What is there for us? Because according to Section 108 of the Employment Relations Act, we come in that category. So I don't see anything for us where we would like to be employed, but it's the duration that we need to sort of meet our expenses. I don't fall under any mortgages, so I'm not enjoying any benefits from FNPF as such. So what do, we youngsters, like in between? Are we not retiring at the moment as well?
Sorry, can we have your name, please, ma'am?
I'm Sanjanina.
Okay, you're currently unemployed.
Sorry?
You've taken the package, you're currently
I
unemployed.
haven't taken a package, but it's a compulsory package. So we, a set of us, we've been asked to, take our compulsory packages. We are not ready to retire yet. Like, we are not of the age we would be working.
Okay, so you're still employed, eh?
Yeah, I mean, like, in our balances are well above 10,000 also. So we are the ones that actually have served the government and everybody, but we are like at an end where we won't have anything till we get employed. That's how we see it. Right now, there's nothing we can tap into. Some of us have been living on like pay to pay. So I'm representing all of my fellow people out there. I mean, those who were affected, not of our CS, but people who would be affected in future as well.
Okay, thank you,
It's like
Sanjay.
we're getting out of COVID frame, but I mean, that, we are not qualifying for the COVID grants as well. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a very good question. You are not the only one facing that problem. There are also others. For example, the teachers that didn't receive, the civil servants that didn't receive their JET. But right now, because of the COVID legislation assistance that we passed, we had reviewed, we used to have an unemployment assistance of $2,000. That stopped when we started the COVID assistance. That was reduced from 2,000 to 1,100. So right now, we are liaising with government in terms of the assistance now finally coming to an end. We at FNPF will then make a call as to when we're going to reinstitute that normal unemployment. So you should be hearing from us shortly in terms of that assistance. The unemployment assistance is when you are terminated from your employment or when you leave work, you are eligible to withdraw $2,000 to start you whilst you are in the process of looking for employment. Is that clear? Thank you.
The second lot of 360 that was paid out by government actually covered the period October, November and December of 120 each. So we've now approached December, so this is a time when FNPF will review its unemployment withdrawal, and soon the executive committee will take it to the board of an outcome. So that if there is a continuation, then we will come back to you and let you know. So please bear with us and we'll get back to you on the unemployment assistance when it will resume normally. The $2,000 we will reinstate. So it's just a matter of time. When board actually gives us a go ahead, then we'll implement it.
Sorry, sir. I'm back on. Just like you've given like a leverage for those employees who are below 10K with balances below 10K. What about the balances above? Why are we being discriminated? Why can't we have some leverage when approaching retirement age? Like pre-retirement age, people can withdraw as well?
There's a product which is called the low member balances. The low member balances account is for people that are 50 years to 54. Their balances is $5,000 and below. That used to be the case, and then just a couple of last year we increased it to 10,000. Just early this year to $10,000. Okay, so which means that if you are 50 to 54 years old, your balance is less than $10,000. That was increased from $5,000. The thinking is that when you are at that age, you are nearing your retirement, please, that money could act as a seed funding or capital to start you with a small micro businesses. That's why we did that That's why. So as long as you qualify in terms of that age group, for people below 30, that doesn't apply to you. $2,000 applies to you because you have a lot of time ahead of you to find another alternative employment. And basically, FNPF is a retirement fund. First and foremost, it is a retirement fund. And that's what people should be aware of. Other jurisdictions all over the world, there's no other forms of pre-retirement withdrawals that are allowed. Australia and New Zealand. Fiji being the sole superannuation fund, we have allowed for the unique situation in Fiji, whereby we also assist for education, for medical, for housing, unemployment, and also for people that started small businesses. Okay? Now in COVID, we've also allowed people that were left off work. That is also to enable them to find a meaningful form of employment and to start a small business. That's why we have that facility.
I do look young, but I'm 51 coming December 18. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm 51. I'm approaching my age as well towards retirement, but I have a healthy 125k above, but I'm not able to tap anything when I'm unemployed. So I'm seeking assistance from you. Like me, there's 100 plus or so front offices with healthy balances above 10k. We seek your help. Thank you.
Another product that we've rolled out, it's a micro business assistance where you could draw from your own FNPF account and take seed capital to open up a MSME business. We'll definitely discuss this after the forum on the side with you, but there are some misnomers and corrections I would like to make, not just to you but for everybody's benefit. When you say you have not benefited from FNPF, that is incorrect. Every other time a person takes money out from FNPF, do not feel that you have benefited unless it's a pre-retirement withdrawal that you're taking out for housing, medical, funeral, unemployment and education, which we've reduced from 23 grounds prior to 2014, because FNPF more or less was operating like a bank prior to 2014, where you could draw for everything and anything. Even if you are going for tour of duty, you come to FNPF to take money out and give it to your relatives. But FNPF is not a bank per se. It's a retirement fund. We give you that promise that when you turn 55 or whenever you choose to retire, we are able to give you that money so that you could have that peace of mind in your retirement. A number of members, if you go through the summary we provided, we've got a number of members who have zeroed their accounts. It's very unfortunate. That is the statistics that will stay in our books until they reach their entitlement age. But with the scheme design that we did in 2014, a member can no longer have a zero balance in fund now because 70% is now going to sit in the preserved account. So we pay you the interest every year. Your money that we collect through contributions from your wage and your matched by your employer, the employer contribution, FNPF invests the money and ends the returns, we pay back the returns to you. That is the benefit. If you look at one of the earlier slides that you had actually talked about, in the last 5 years, we have actually returned more interest to you than the actual money we have collected from you by way of contribution. So the 10% contribution that comes from your wages and your employer's side is actually less than the amount of interest that FNPF had paid you in the last 5 years. It's actually 1.51 billion. So that is the benefit you get. The impact of that compounding interest is why you see your balances going up every year. So come 1st of July, a number of you run to FNP to check your balances. Because on the night of 30th June, we've credited the interest to you. You feel good about it. We don't want you to feel bad in your retirement years when you don't have the money, when you are dependent on your children and you ask them for fares to go to the village. We want you to have that dependency, not dependency, we want you to have that independence. So that you can go to the ATM, draw money from there, or if you've chosen a pension product, you get that monthly annuity. You are independent. That is the promise we want to give to you. But for that, you need to be disciplined with the FNPF funds. There are additional products that our team will showcase to you after this, but in terms of, if you are able to manage your FNPF funds and not draw from it, they will accumulate, and then you will see the compounding impact. We will definitely attend to you, Sanjini, after this, and we'll explain, how we can, assist you. But that is the whole objective of the fund. It's a retirement fund.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. I'll just go to a question that I received via text, just leading on from Mr. Singh's response. Can FNPF consider those who wish to retire early at 40s? On a case-by-case proposal from members, not everyone wants to retire at 55, given the current situations with COVID. People are dying from stress and work stress, and they'll get the opportunities to enjoy their retirement money. Can FNPF move the retirement age down to 40?
Thank you for that question. It's the government civil service retirement age. I think it's 55 now. So for us, we are guided as advisor to government, and we work closely with government. And also when we consult our actuaries and our board, they have a responsibility to run the fund in a sustainable manner. So retirement age is a critical consideration in running provident funds. But we've taken that on board. But let me just clarify. Apart from wanting to retire at 40, there are some other assistance available that members can have access to. For example, if you want to do sugarcane farming, for those that want to run a farm, you can go and approach Sugarcane Growers Council, and also via FDB. There are a lot of assistance that are being rolled out at the moment. So those of you that are considering farming, that's probably one of the possibilities. But we take the point that you want a review of the retirement age, but to be very honest, that's a big ask at the moment. But we appreciate and we take that on board, and then that will be discussed with our ExCom and our relevant stakeholders, including the board and our actuaries. But for now, the retirement age is 55.
Thank you. I think everyone in this room wants to retire. No. Yes, sir. I'll give you the floor. Please state your name and your question.
Hello. Yeah, good evening all. Okay, just to mention, I'm almost 62 years old. And recently I had a call to FNPF if I could access dollars. I'm a voluntary member, and they said, no, you take all. I said, no, I want to live here until 65. They said, no, you take it all. I said, no, I'm leaving. And I went away. So you don't have provision for people over 55 who are voluntary, and they can access some money from their funds. Just to let you know, few years back, I had my insurance policy, and then I had got 10,000 spare from there. I put it in FNPF. I didn't know that this pandemic was coming. So I think you should consider some of these things, Chief Vinaka.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, FNPF, and putting your hard and saving with us. In fact, that is the best decision you've taken, and we pay the highest return, and that too tax-free. In fact, your suggestion, we are currently working on it. And there is something that has already been discussed at executive committee and together with our board on this too. So we're hoping we could get some decisions on this, and we will try to come back to you as early as next year. But definitely for over 55, we know that you also need money, but you do not want to take out everything. That is something that our product team is currently working on. So just bear with us, we'll definitely get back to you.
Thank you. Another question on text. This is someone who actually wants to pension his money. How much balance should I have if I want to be receiving $500 a month? And can I withdraw at 57 instead of 55? So the question was, if he was going to receive $500 a month, I assume at the sole pension rate, how much would he need to have pensioned, and can he withdraw at 57 instead of 55?
Thank you. That's a very good question. You can, the pension scheme is an age-based scheme. It's a pension, it's age-based. It's depending on your age. At 55, there's a certain rate that applies to it. I think in your case you were asking for 57. Okay, at 57, the rate is at 7.7, joint account. If you want to retire jointly or if you want to be a sole pensioner, the rate that applies is 9%. So you take the amount that you want to set aside.
Sorry, before Mr. Wangarai continues, there's a FNPF pension booklet that is in your pack, yeah? Which really follows on from what Mr. Wangarai will talk about.
The pension product is explained in this booklet. It's in your forum pack. Please read that. If you're still unsure, you ask any of us after this or come to. Okay.
Also, at the end of the session, if you want us to calculate what your retirement balance or the balance you need to pension to reach whatever amount, we can do that after. So, for your info. Sorry, boss.
It's the quick calculation fee is you need to set aside $66,000. $66,000, that will pay you $500 per month. At 57, that will pay you $500 per month. But it's that calculator is available without it. They can easily do it. It's a very simple calculation. You take the amount that you've got, times it by the rate that's applicable to the year that you want to retire. And in the table, it clearly tells you the year and also how to calculate that very easy, so you can do it in a simple calculator. But no, thank you for that question in terms of the pension. If there's one thing that I would want to emphasize and encourage people, please think carefully about the decisions that you make when you reach 55. In the papers last week, you would have seen the Director of Social Services, Rupeni, highlighting about the old homes being full. Families are putting their mums and dads and their seniors into retirement homes. If you are not financially independent, as what Ravidash was alluding to, you will face the consequences of not planning properly for your retirement. It's important for you, for all of us to prepare well for retirement. And if you are on the verge of retirement in terms of 50, 55, I would ask you to please, before you make the option, you come and see us so that we can advise you on what would be the best options for you. You know, to be very honest, in Fiji's situation, when somebody retires at 55, the whole village, the whole Koro knows. All the long lost relatives will find you. As soon as your money finishes, nobody will buy a bundle of dal or fish for you. So it's important for you to make the right choices. By having $100, $200, $300 by now, the kids would have gone. Both of you are alive, that is sufficient. We've got some very good testimonies of people being able to look after themselves by the small pension amounts that they receive every month that makes them enjoy life. So it's important, please, for those of you that are contemplating or about to reach 55, please come and speak to us so that we can advise you. Don't get your advice from the grog board or from the market. Please, come and see one of our offices so that you can get the correct advice. And make it seriously so that you don't regret it. There are so many cases we know of where people have made decisions and now they are regretting the decisions they made. Because they have all withdrawn their money and there's nothing coming in them for money to look after them when they're supposed to be enjoying their senior years. Enough.
Thank you, Mr. Oberawai. I've received a few questions regarding housing withdrawal as to how a fund can provide or better the product rather than just utilizing housing eligibility. So I think at this point, we'll congratulate Mr. Vondanebalo, who was actually appointed as the chair of the Housing Authority of Fiji Board recently. So, CEO, maybe this is a question for you, as in your capacity as the chair of the board, how would you be able to maybe revamp our housing withdrawal at FNPF? How would you improve it, especially given the price of properties at the moment, the market is very volatile? Perhaps you can get some insight from our CEO.
Vinaka, I think the issue with, if you notice, I'll answer it from an FNPF perspective. From an investment end, FNPF is actually considering investment on housing with the operator that hasn't been found yet. I think the key for us from FNPF end, we already have an eligibility clause, which is the highest out of all the withdrawal. Because the only housing is the only one that allows you to access the percent, which is around 51%. So that's one. I think the stakeholder for housing is quite, the intention now is to bring us all together, Housing Authority, Ministry of Housing, informal sector, and also FNPF, and all funding institutions. For us, the success would be reducing the cost of construction. And that is fundamental for Fiji. And I think that's from the government itself is driving that. And that's the reason I'm in the board for housing, is to find a solution for housing shortage in the country. I leave it at that. I won't elaborate much at this time.
Thank you. I'll just read one more from the text. This is regarding pensioners. Can FNPF assist the pensioners with COVID-19 assistance this year? We had received some assistance in 2019, but none this year, when we needed it the most. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Lisi. You have paid, you want to pay on to the pensioners in light of the difficulties US pensioners had faced. And then we've taken that back to our actuary. See, there is a fundamental difference between a member fund and a pensioner fund. With the member fund, we continue to use your money to invest and earn interest. That is why we are able to pay you pre-retirement withdrawals. And when you retire, you take your lump sum, or you take, choose a pension product. Unlike the retirement income fund, which is a separate business on its own. So when you choose to go on a pension product, we take that money out from your member account and put it to a pension account. And because there is a guarantee associated with your pension, because after a certain number of years, when you use your FNPF pension, which is the principal sum, then FNPF promises you to pay you until your demise. Or in the event, if you choose to go on a joint pension product, then that benefit passes to your wife. So that is the gap. That is why we would not be able to make untimely withdrawals from your pension fund and pay you, for COVID unemployment assistance, COVID difficulties. Because at the end of the day, when you do use up your principal, that's when you will start using the returns from the pension fund that is actually set aside to cater for that gap after you've used your principal. So unlike the member fund, we cannot continue to draw it all the time. Otherwise, we will face the same issue we faced with the pension buffer fund. If you remember, prior to 2011, we had the pension buffer fund, where 2 cents from your contribution used to go and sit in the pension buffer fund. And all the reports that we got from World Bank and ILO suggested that if we do not reform the pension fund, the member fund will continue to subsidize. In fact, in 2011, the pension buffer fund had come down to 16 million. And by 2016, that buffer fund would have exhausted fully. And then the members would have had to subsidize. So that's why the reforms happened on the pension fund. Now, with the reduction in the conversion rates from that 15 to 8.7%, we tell you, we give the promise to you, if you've got onto the pension product, you will get that monthly annuity until you die. Or, you know, in the event you choose a joint pension, it will pass to your legal spouse. So that's why we cannot make that payment. There isn't that much surpluses. And with the coupons coming down on the bonds, our yields are coming down on the bonds. We are not getting the same returns we used to get on the government bonds we used to get 5 years back, because government is also reducing its cost of finances. There are other players in the market that compete with FNPF in the bond market. So obviously the yields are coming down. And with the reducing yield, it's very difficult to keep up with the pension payment. So just to answer the question is, at this point in time, we would not be able to facilitate any additional payment for the pensioners.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Question from the floor, please. Yes, sir. Right up here.
Thank you, sir. My name is Vinod Kumar, member. I'm an insurance agent for LICI. I'm over 55. At age 55, I withdrew lump sum. And then I rejoined. I was enjoying. And due to the difficulties now you are facing, this year I walked into the FNPF office in Lautoka and asked for my second withdrawal lump sum. And I was told that I can rejoin again. But unfortunately, I'm not allowed to rejoin. But I am still an agent for LICI. And LICI asked me if FNPF allows me to rejoin, they will contribute. So that is my question, if some amendments can be done in your way, please.
Thanks for that. The law only allows one opportunity to enter after you withdraw at 55. So if you've withdrawn at 55, you get one opportunity, and then that's it. You can't enter twice after to do another withdrawal. That's where the law stands at the moment. So just to give you some clarifications on probably just to give you a heads up in terms of the product that was being referred to by about a retirement, whereby our team has been working on what's called a drawdown account, whereby at 55 you choose or you have the eligibility to either take a full lump sum or whatever pension you want to take, or you want to also opt for this account which is called the drawdown account. What happens is that account is there, and then there's a monthly annuity is then given to you based on the estimated life of that pension. So, but every year you also get paid. As your balance reduces, when we declare interest at the end of the year, you are also able to share in that interest also. So there's a choice that's going to be coming. When we do it, we'll make the announcement. But there's something that our product team and our internal teams are working on. So you can choose to keep your account there. We pay you at the end of the month. We pay you the interest at the end of each year. The similar interest that we pay all other members. But you also get to also get a monthly pension that you withdraw to enable you with your, to sustain you in terms of your living expenses.
Thank you, Mr. Vangarawai. Next question, please. Okay, hold on, Sanjini. Does anyone have a question? We'll just go to our first questions. Thank you.
May I speak in Fijian, please, so I can express myself clearly? Age 52 at the moment. I was starting from 2012, 2013 maybe, until today. Tikwendonangele, 10 acres, farm Tibubalelai, or Susori Tibubalelai, Gireti Mamilava. About to my Tinundol, Tolandra, I see it Tibubalelai, Tinundol, Tolandra. Okay, Retina, Nabatan Begara, Kipakara, Mamata Kanila, age 55 at the moment, and Norway was Sandas Nibuli. Sabi ka raw ng mga trabaho. O wala wala nga increase wala lang mo highs, bolte gibi na kita na hani at moment. O kaya wala nga increase wala lang mo jala start nila ba. Raw ba pa bayaw mo tara na lawan?
Okay, the members is asking for the benefit of those who don't speak Fijian. She's been unemployed since 2012. She's currently 52 years old. She's farming on a land 10 acres. She's got around 10,300 in her FNPF. Can she access it for her beehive business? Small business.
Now, tengo to evitar lo más, pero no lo rey no balances, no rey. Sa metaro masala di man tayo to nito lalay Lautoka sa semen.
Sa wakas kayo iti mga ro.
Oh, okay.
Ako na mo bilang katamulang may buhay na rin.
Oh, okay. Kan man balay na watong tigo na dami tigo na mo balance. Round ito may bitang mo niyo tigo. Ito may bitang mo niyo tigo.
Thank you, Mr. Magaroni. So she's been advised to see Mr. Magaroni after, and then we'll assess the case. Okay. So we'll go to Sanjini quickly before someone else can ask a question. Vinaka.
Sorry, I'm trying to make a suggestion here. What about the first 10,000 that is given to people with balances as less as 10,000, like you can withdraw? What about the tier, like people with other like balances? That could be one tier, like a cap for people to withdraw as well. I'm pretty sure that we're will be able to find out that it's not too much, given the COVID and the only about to hit us. We might be able to use the 10K to do our own small businesses or combat all the other expenses in between. If there could be an opening for a tier from years retiring from say 50 to 55. Irrespective of whether your balance is low or not, but it's a 10K, you can tap into that. I'm just suggesting for the floor to take it up, please. Thank you.
Good suggestion, Doctor. I think you're talking about paying out in different cohorts. So between 50 to 51, a separate amount. Okay. Suggestion noted, and we'll take it back to actual executive committee for deliberation.
Thank you, Sanjini. Do we have any questions from the team that's outside? We have a few members that are become the Maraman to Okay, yes sir, on the aisle here.
Vakalevu, Sir CEO, for the wonderful presentation this afternoon. Thank you FNPF for looking after our funds and also the online platforms available today. I believe they are user-friendly, and as for me personally, it has assisted me a lot in terms of applying for education assistance online, and I managed to get my funds for that purpose within 24 hours. I just want to put a motion across in regards to the minors voluntary scheme, children below the age of 18, sorry. I believe most children in the western, in the west, Lautoka children, most of them are receiving land leases, and like this. Land lease monies are being held by HFC Bank. We understand this is one of the subsidiary company of FNPF. I really like the comment made by Mr. CEO. FNPF right now is the best performing financial institution in Fiji. And from a customer's perspective, can we have their funds being transferred to FNPF to look after by FNPF? And not by HFC. Thank you, sir. That's all.
That's in fact that's a very good question. Just to, as you said, We at FNPF have also been having our discussions with the TLTB. In fact, one of our executives is also a board member of TLTB. And we've actually been trying to sort of trying to get them to sort of see that the best investment for the landowners, particularly for the minor landowners, is to put it in the fund. But anyway, discussions are still going on. We haven't given up. Hopefully, we should be able to reach some sort of. Well, I guess from the end, it's a contractual obligation which they are legally obliged to keep because they attended with all the banks when they were initially giving up the services for these trust funds. And so there's a legal sort of a roadblock in there. But as they say, there's always things can be negotiated, things can be talked about. We haven't shied away from putting our case to them. We will keep trying, and hopefully at the end of the day we will come to some amicable solution, all for the benefit of our landowners.
Vinaka, just another question on text regarding the sole pension funds. Once the member passes away, the money will automatically cease. The next of kin is not eligible to receive the pension. So what happens to the unpaid balance for someone who is on pension? This is the guarantee term.
Thank you, VC. I think that is referring to the guarantee period. So, upon choosing a pension, you have a guarantee period of 5 years. If you pass away within the 5 years, then the balance of the 5 years gets paid to your next of kin or whoever you nominated. That is how the guarantee works. Previously, it was only 12 months. I think the question you're asking is, what happens after 5 years when you pass away? So that money is in fact retained in the pension business, which is the retirement income fund. Because, as I alluded earlier, there are instances when a pensioner actually uses up their whole principal. At 8.7%, it takes you about 11 years to use up your pension. So at age 55, please just bear with me. If you retire at age 55, then by 66, you will use your principal sum. If you go on a single life pension at 8.7%. So that's how the numbers are done, and we will share the calculator with you. And given that the health systems have improved over time in the country, we see many of our family members living beyond 66. So some of our family members are well into the 70s, 80s, and with God's blessing, they can go into 90s, become a century. So when they go past 66, the fund actually bears that liability. So every month after they've turned 66, the money that they get from the annuity is actually paid from the pension business, which is a separate business. So that liability is actually paid from there. So in the event you pass away within the 5 years, the remaining of the 5 years get paid, but after 5 years, it sits in the retirement fund. Because we also have contingent liabilities within the retirement income fund. So that is how the retirement income fund or the pension business, not only in Fiji, the whole world works like this. In fact, we are one of the very few countries that still offer life pension at this rate. Normally, all the other funds is defined benefit scheme. Ours is a defined contribution scheme where you sort of get that guarantee plus a promise to pay until you live, until you die, and then thereafter it gets transferred to your wife. So you can call it, it's like a gamble, but try to live a healthy life and go beyond 66.
Just probably to add on, those of you that are thinking about taking out a pension option, there is a sole pension, which is you alone, you are the owner of the money. you get paid on a monthly basis. When you pass away, if it's within the guarantee period, as Praveen mentioned, you get paid for the remaining year of the remaining installments. But if you go for a joint pension, slightly lower table, slightly lower rate, but the beauty about a joint pension is this: when you go for a joint pension, if I am receiving $500, I'm the owner of the money, I've nominated my wife. You can only nominate your legal spouse. I make that clarification. You can only nominate your legal spouse as a joint pensioner. When I pass away, that same $500 will continue to be paid to her until she passes away. That's the advantage of a joint pension. So your surviving spouse doesn't have to worry about where his or her living expenses comes from. Okay? But whereas with a sole pension, it ceases when you pass away. So those of you that are yet to make the decisions or are contemplating to make those decisions, I would encourage you to please think seriously about the choices that you make on pension and come and get advice so that you can make the right choice. Vinaka.
Thank you, Mr. Oberaway. Just a reminder, the feedback form that's in your folder, please ensure that you fill it out. So at the end of the session, you'll just hand it over to the team when you walk out the door on my right, and they'll give you your light back tonight. There's a question here from you guys, from one of you guys, sent in by text. Can the fund look into or consider reducing the contribution rate, employer contribution rate, especially for SME business owners, at least for some businesses that are less than 3 years old?
In fact, the contribution rates are going to go up from January 1st, from the 5% to 6%. See, at the end of the day, even the MSME entrepreneur is also a member in their own right, because you also contribute for your own FNPF. So at the end of the day, if you contribute less, you will have less when you retire. So instead of trying to go for a reduction, we always encourage members to increase their contributions. We understand the plight members are suffering at the moment, and it's quite rife in the Western Division, and that is the reason why in April 2020, during the recovery budget announced by the Fijian government, the rates were actually brought down from 18% to 10%. And that too was on both sides, the employer side and the employee side. That was to give employees a bit of extra money to assist them during the COVID difficulties for members who would have lost their jobs or were in reduced pay or salary, and for employers like the likes of MSME, medium-sized business or large corporates, they also got a bit of a relief on the employer contribution. So at the end of the day, those are the contributions that FNPF receives from you, and that is mandated by law, that we collect on your behalf from your employer, and we intend to invest those funds in various asset classes and various investments. That is how we earn the returns. And if you are thinking about reducing the contribution rates to assist you at this time, it will hurt you in the long run, because you will have a lesser amount when you retire. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Singh. Also, at the end of the session, our executives, the FNPF team, will be here for another hour or so you can see our executives directly if you have a specific question that you want to ask them, or any of the team. The services team are also at the back. If you want to check your balances, if you sign up for one of our digital services, if you want us to forecast what your retirement income would be in order to get a particular pension per month, we can do that for you when we close this session.
Listen,
yes.
can I just additionally clarify a question that was related to housing? Yeah? That was about the housing. I think when you really look at it in terms of the housing, those of you that want to invest in a house, you need to save for housing. So, and there are opportunities available within the fund for you to additionally contribute. I would encourage, particularly those of you that are currently working, the best way to serve is to save, is just to additionally increase your contributions. Don't underestimate the $5, $10, $20 about the compounding impact of that interest, of that small amount. It amounts to a lot. And our team that are there, they are equipped with calculators that can actually work out for you if you put an additional $5, $10, an additional 1% or 2%, how much it will equate to at the end of the day or when you reach 55. So for those of you that want to have housing, I would encourage you, please additionally contribute so that you build up. The more you contribute, the more will be the equity, so that when you go to any of the lenders or the banks to finance the balance, when you have a high equity, you will have less loan. The less loan that you have, the less interest cost also that you have to pay, the less repayment. So it's important for you, and I would encourage you, please, the best way to save money, and we've shown you the slides, we've paid you over 1.5 billion in the last 5 years. There's no better savings mechanism in Fiji other than to just additionally contribute or increase your contributions to FNPF. Those of you that are voluntary members, even those of you that are compulsory members, you can now additionally contribute. If you have harvested your ngona or whatever crop that you are planting or sugar, there used to be restrictions previously. Now no. If you have a lump sum, if you have received 10,000 from those proceeds, you want to put in 8,000, you are welcome to come into the fund and put an additional sum to boost, to bolster up or to increase your savings. And these are the save and to accumulate your money. For at the end of the day, you will only enjoy your retirement when you have a larger balance, which will enable you to have a larger pension or annuity when you offer it. Or if you want to purchase a house, you have a large So please, think carefully. Those of you that are working, I would encourage you. Our team are out there, look, talk to them, and or if you want our team to come in and do awarenesses in your workplaces, our team is moving around, get in touch with Darren. Okay? Yeah, and if you also have taken any withdrawals, whether it's a housing or education, you can come back and repay that at any time. In fact, there's no mercy. So the more you put in investments, in savings, there are only three things. The principal, the amount that you put in, the length of the time that you put it in, the term. The younger you are, the better it is, because you have more years to 55. And the last one, of course, is the interest. These three are the ones that determine how large the interest that you get at the end of the day. So the more you put in, the longer you put it in, the less withdrawals that you take out, the higher the interest that you get at the end of the day. Vinaka.
Thank you, Mr. Wangarwai, for that important instant reminder. Can I have the microphone, please, to this gentleman towards the back? To the middle here, in the red shirt.
Naga, thank you. My name is Salesi Pinau. I've been a member since 1999. And I'd like to thank the CEO and the board and also the fund for that mortgage assistance that you guys rolled out a few months ago. I wish to have could have withdrawn more, but it was a buffer. Thank you for that. My question is, I am in the tourism industry, and the business I work for, we service the Mount Manuta and the Asawa regions, and I was wondering if, I know the borders have opened today and the tourism started to come, but the amount of tourist, amount of volume of business pre-COVID and looking forward won't really kick in until after the first quarter, March, April, because a lot of the resorts in the Mount Manutas and the Asawas are not going to open until March, April. My question is if will you be rolling out another form of assistance like the phase 3, phase 3 round 6 or something similar to that? in these next few months. Naka.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question, sir. This is something currently we will be liaising with the government and seeking their input on this, because we work very closely with the Fijian government on the COVID unemployment assistance that we roll out. Because if many of us may remember, since the COVID assistance have been rolled out, many of us have been receiving solely the government top-up, because you didn't have any general account balance. So the ones who had the general account balance, they could draw from the FNPF. But there were others who did not have general account balance. So the government equally topped up their COVID unemployment assistance. And they paid more than FNPF. In fact, the total amount of government assistance that they've rolled out since last year, April, has been over 500 million. And FNPF has paid about half of it. But we are talking with government. If there is going to be any additional rounds, then we will also take it to our board, because the board has the final say of rolling out any unemployment assistance, because that will be paid from the member account. Again, I must remind that is something we've noticed and observed since we've run out the COVID unemployment assistance. We have more than 30,000 members. More than 30,000 members who do not have any more general account balance. So come January, or when your children might go to university and you need to put them into university, it's rather unfortunate you will not have any general account to draw for your education assistance. So that is why, as much as possible, savings permitted. If you can, open up a minor voluntary account for your children, if you can. I understand the difficulty, but that is the sad reality. For members who have the GA account balances, and if our board so approves, we will run additional rounds. Because we know we are not out of the woods yet. Borders have just opened. It's not like a magic that we press the button and everything goes back to pre-COVID levels. It will take time, and we are fully mindful of your needs and our members. We work with you. We actually understand. We come down to the West every now and then again. We talk to our members. We listen to them. And these kind of forums are places where we take feedback, and we go back and we tell our board, this is the actual difficulty faced by our members. So please bear with us. This is not something that we can decide now at this table and say, yes, we will run it, because at the end of the day, the board needs to approve any additional unemployment assistance. So whenever that decision is made, we will come back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. So we're at 7 p.m. So did you want to ask a question? Okay, we'll go for our final two questions. We'll go to the gentleman in the black shirt. And
sorry, just to recap on that. I understand that and appreciate that, but myself and a lot of our people I know, we don't qualify for the government assistance because we've been fortunate to have a job, but reduced rate of salary. So that was my question.
So when we do run the, if there's an additional round of unemployment assistance, then you can obviously come forward and take it from your general account, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pina.
Good evening. Sir, the answer I've been looking for is in regards to unclaimed funds. My dad passed away in 2019, and from 2020 July, I've been emailing FNPF to get the guidelines and requirements to apply for the unclaimed. And just in this year, in July, I got the response that it will go to High Court. And my question is that how long does it take for the unclaimed to reach High Court? Because it's December now and I've not received any update.
Sir, again, our sincere apologies. We shouldn't have waited this long, and we understand this is why we come here, so we can hear from you. In no circumstances you should have waited for this long. The process takes 3 weeks at the maximum. And in fact, my humble apologies. Just see me after this and we'll try to assist you.
Thank you. So we'll give our final question to Madam at the back. in the purple blouse, and then we will invite our CEO for his closing remarks. And those that will want to stay back and talk to us further, then we can continue to do so. Vinaka.
It's from the ladies in the house. The statistics that you showed was that there are more men members, if I stand to be corrected, more male members that are contributing to FNPF, probably because they hold the jobs that we women cannot do. But you know, for someone who's 50 years young, and I've heard from my fellow colleagues, women who want to go into business or who have a business and they want to access their funds. I think we will do better when we are empowered to do business. My question is, not question, but my comment is, we women can be able to take that number up again if we are supported on small business. Perhaps we could have a small business and continue case by the fund. And we will contribute back to the economy, and at the same time, the employers and pay extra contribution to the fund. That is from the ladies in the house, and I hope we would have some sort of consideration in terms of women empowerment, and there are a lot of other programs that can support the fund in terms of empowering women to be successful in business. But maybe just looking at your small businesses starting off with 15,000, we need to have a one-time contribution from our funds for 5,000. I'm putting it to the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We will take the suggestion on board and we will discuss with our executive team and our board, and we will deliberate on the matter. Madam.
Thank you for raising. In fact, our team was in a workshop at Redison early this with entrepreneurs and with various interest groups, women groups, exactly on the same thing. We are working in collaboration with UN, CDF, ILO, to try to revamp our voluntary programs. So it's something that we are doing.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So members, I guess we'll come to close for our Q&A segment. As I said earlier, if you'd like to ask other questions to us, CEO or executives that are here today, or the FNPF team that are at the back, you're more than welcome to stay back. We'll hang around for you, but we are mindful that some of you have to travel and we don't know how far. So we'll have to bring this session to a close. So please ensure your feedback is formed. The feedback form is filled. Then we'll give you your blank dinner as you make your way out. But at this juncture, I'll invite our CEO, Mr. Vanaka, for his closing remarks. Vinaka.
I just want to take this time to thank you, members, for taking your time to be with us. I also use this forum to apologize if we've have some shortfall in regards to our service delivery. As I've mentioned before, membership agenda is one of our key focus for this financial year and the years to come. So you will see a different FNPF going forward. I know that the environment is not conducive at the moment. COVID-19 has a totally different effect. You're probably hearing our answer. If we didn't answer your question, you are entitled to come directly to any of the executive. You can speak to us now if you need our mobile numbers or email address. We can easily provide that to you. I wish you well for this afternoon, and we all want this together. FNPF is here to stay, and any assistance that we can provide, provided the law allows us, we'll assist you. Enough.
Vinaka Vakalevu. Let's just bow our heads for what a prayer to close this session. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again. We thank you for giving us the wisdom. We thank you for uniting us here, our members, pensioners, employers, and the FNPF team to positively discuss the fund and a best way forward. We ask you, Father, to please be with us, guide us to our different homes. Bless each and every single person and their families that are here today and the fund. And we ask all this in the name of our Father, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here this evening. We're very grateful that you made time to be here. Please see us if you need to after this. But from the team, Merry Christmas, Happy 2021, and stay safe. Vinaka.